Welcome into the I-80 Boys College Football Saturday Show, Week 6 edition. I'm Christian Hunt, and that old douche Knazzle right next to me, right over there is...
Chris Vaca. What's up, guys? What's up, Christian? How you doing, man? What'd you think of the games last night, sir?
And it was very interesting. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Nebraska.
Woo!
They lifted whatever curse I think might have been in that program. They got a much-needed, hard-fought win on the road at Illinois. Kansas State, Oklahoma State, doing real Big 12 shit out there.
Oh, God. Hey, boy, you're right there. That game was a weird game to watch. Like I said, K-State, I was pretty high on this year. Not looking too hot so far. They got a loss to Missouri. Now they got a loss to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's not very good this year. I think they lost to an FCS school at some point this year. So, if you're a K-State man right now, you got to be a little disappointed last night. They looked really flat last night, Christian.
Yeah, I think you kind of said it best. I mean, flat is one way to describe it. I know, we were touching on it a little bit before we got on the show. Man, the refs in that game missed a lot. I mean, they might have been wearing your sunglasses, Chris. I'm thinking they've been blind.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good, man. The reffing across the board this year, like we talked about, it's been really suspect at times, even in the NFL too. You know what I mean? It's been overly bad. I know that was something they really wanted to correct after last year because there was a lot of talk about it. I don't know where they're getting some of these guys or what the hell they're looking at or if they're betting on the games. I don't know, man. I'm not sure.
Oh, man. Well, let's talk a little bit about your Huskers for a second, Chris. I mean, we were texting a lot throughout that game. What'd you think about it?
Overall, for the program, for the fan base, me included, a big win for us. I know it's Illinois, but it was a big win on the road on a Friday night. Big win though. I mean, it was nice to see us get a W. It was nice to see us actually compete for 4 quarters. I thought the game was I thought the game was a little sloppy. Christian, I thought the game was a little sloppy on both sides, both teams. We did have 3 turnovers again, which I do not like. The turnover issue this year and the penalties. We had 10 penalties for 70 yards again last night. But hats off. Defense played really well. They shut their run game down. I was very impressed with that. I thought overall Nebraska played their best game of the season, even though it was very sloppy. I will say that. There's some things I'd like to see corrected going forward as our schedule definitely gets a little tougher.
Yeah, I agree. I think the defense played lights out last night. There was other parts of it, though, I think that were kind of helped out by Illinois', they abandoned the run game like in the second quarter, I'm pretty sure. And then they didn't come back around to it again, until about the fourth quarter, which was a little weird. And then I think the other side of it was just, Nebraska did a great job. They got some turnovers where they needed to. And then in the second half, the thing that really stood out to me as far as Nebraska is concerned, 3 points on like 4 drives or 3 drives inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, and you said it best. And that's what I was talking about when I said there's some things that need to be corrected. Going forward, we once you know how it is, Christian, we talk about NFL's huge on that analytic is when you get inside the red zone, can you convert? Nebraska had multiple opportunities last night and just couldn't convert. They'd get the turnover, but once you get inside the 20, you got to be able to put the ball in the end zone a couple times there. But hats off overall. I mean, Children of the Corn said huge win for us. Absolutely. For the program, it was good. It was good for the fan base. We needed this one. And going forward, Christian, what I'd like to see from Nebraska, can we couple another win here with the win we got, last night? Can we build off of that going forward, clean it up a little bit on the penalties, clean the turnovers up? We're going to have to do that. We can't be turning the ball over 3 times a game or more this year. But overall, the big win for the Huskers, man. Like I said, I'm really, truly happy for them. I don't know if I have a whole lot more to add to that, but
I got you. I want to add my closing thoughts here on it. As far as Nebraska, I like you said, Chris. I think it was a fantastic win for that program. You guys absolutely needed it. I mean, after the Michigan game, I think it would have been really easy for guys to kind of quit And some guys did. Some guys hit the portal right after that game.
Yeah.
But, for the large part, it would really be really easy for the team to kind of just tap out and, just get steamrolled out there on the road at Illinois. The season kind of goes right by you. I think they did a fantastic job at not letting that affect them and getting back on track. And I think they got some momentum going into this next game. And I think, I think Nebraska kind of saved their season in a lot of ways. And we'll see, like I said, I guess the rest of it's still going to be yet to be written because we know kind of Illinois is not what we thought they were.
No.
As they say.
No.
Coming into the season.
Yeah, no, no, they're not. And you're exactly right. Christian and I were pretty high on Illinois this year, but like I said, hats off. A win's a win. We'll take it. I'm just a little concerned now. Northwestern's obviously, I think, a better team. Purdue's got a really good offense for the most part. We're going to have to be able to score in those games. So I'd like to see Nebraska. Let's put it this way. Nebraska's still bowl eligible yet with the win last night. Can we get 3 more wins here and get us to, at least 6 wins this season? That's what I'm shooting for. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Absolutely. So we'll start off here with some of the matchups for today. Tonight at 6:00, my Bulldogs take on Kentucky, number 20 versus number 1. If you ask a certain guy, who's a Florida fan, he's already talking about the Dogs are going to get steamrolled in that one. I guess he's kind of living his memory back from last week when Florida got skull drug by Kentucky. 329 yards, I think it was. Yeah. By the way, rushing.
Yeah, just rushing. Yeah, one kid ran for 280? That Davis kid? Yeah. That ain't gonna happen today. By the way, against the Bulldogs. No. I'll be surprised. And I think Ray Davis is a hell of a running back. He is, but I'll be surprised if he gets 50, 60 yards on the ground against Georgia's front line today. And I think Christian, just touching on this game, Kentucky, if they want a chance in this game, they got to be able to throw the football. And Devin Leary has not looked good this year. He had 69 yards against, I think, Florida last week. I know they didn't have to throw it, but he hasn't played very well. He was transferred, I believe, from NC State. They're going to have to put some points up today against Georgia. I know that game will be interesting. I think the line is like at 14.5 right now. And if Kentucky can keep that one close, they're going to have to obviously be able to move the ball through the air today.
Yeah, I agree. And don't get me wrong. I think Devin Leary, he's got that upside to him. I think he could be a good pro passer. Their offense their passing offense, from what I've been told, hasn't really been clicking at times this year. But I don't know, man. I think, to me, this is one where everybody's starting to kind of be down on Georgia. They've had some real kind of sloppy games, haven't really put a full game together yet. I think at home, Seth says it best. I mean, I got Georgia winning by 2 or more touchdowns, basically. Yeah, I agree. This is the game they wake up. I mean, Georgia needs to come out and they need to do something. I mean, at a certain point this year, I think they're going to do it. I think this is the game they do it. You take away, and we touched on this last week, right, where everyone's going to talk about, well, Georgia gave up a ton of rushing yards to Auburn. Well, let's be honest for a second. You take away the quarterback runs, there you go. They're probably going to be able to do what they need to do. I just don't see Kentucky being able to run with Devin Leary back there. I mean, now they might go Wildcat or some shit, and that might fuck us up, but, hey, never say never.
Yeah. No, I think, well, and Seth says it here, night game, home as well. I don't think you guys have lost a night game in 15 years or some crazy stat like that. But Kentucky, Devin Leary don't run the ball. Auburn's a totally different offense in Kentucky. Auburn likes to run RPO and all that type of stuff. Kentucky is a lesser version of Georgia, in my opinion. They want to run smash mouth right at you. And I just don't think that's going to be able to work against your guys'. I know your defense isn't the 2021 defense or 2022's defense, but you guys are still solid up front. And I just haven't seen enough out of Kentucky's passing game to try to spread you guys out. I think that's the only way you can beat Georgia personally. You got to be able to throw the ball a little bit on them.
Yeah, I agree. You got to have that dual threat capability, as they say. Yep. You got to keep them guessing, and we shall see. I mean, you touched on it, Chris. I mean, the guys that normally beat us, you go back and you look, they're able to extend. I mean, that's one of the guys right there, Joe Burrow, right? The reason why he was able to beat Georgia in that game, why that offense was so potent, he was able to get outside, he was able to make people miss, and he was able to kind of throw it up to, some NFL wide receivers. But that's neither here nor there. I digress. Moving ahead, next game on the schedule for tonight, Chris, Michigan versus Minnesota. Tell me a little bit about this blowout waiting to happen.
Oh, no. I'm high, obviously, on Michigan this year. I had them winning the Big Ten, but Minnesota, I think, has probably been really disappointing to most people so far this season. I know they barely beat my Huskers week 1, but they got their doors blown off by North Carolina and then turned around and lost to Northwestern, which was a surprising game and score for me. That team is supposed to have a good defense in Minnesota. They gave up 35 to a Northwestern team that really doesn't have a head coach right now. Can Minnesota, this is one of those weird games that, if Minnesota, I know they're at home, they play a lot better there, at home, but I think Michigan is one of these teams that's just going to get better week after week after week and get into mid-season form here shortly. They looked really good against Nebraska last week. I see this being a blowout. I really do. I predict at least 3-4 touchdown win today for Michigan.
For no reason at all? For no reason at all. I predict this to be a close game in like the first half, maybe first quarter, and then I think Michigan's going to pull away.
Okay. Well, we're going to see what happens there. Why is that, Christian? Why do you feel that way?
It's a Big Ten West, dude. I mean, anything can happen on any given week, man. I mean, shit. Most of my bets this week were centered around that fucking Nebraska-Illinois game, and I'm so mad. One of them, I hedged my bets. I bet on Nebraska, thank God. I did bet on Nebraska. But my dumbass took over 44.5 points in that game last night, and damn it, I got burned.
Yeah.
Which, in hindsight, I probably should have thought about it a little more. But Michigan, Minnesota, to me, I don't know why. It's calling to me. You know what I mean? Like that Duke Clemson thing, right? It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't make sense. But I'm not saying Minnesota is going to upset them. I just think on the road, I just think Minnesota might kind of come out and kind of rock them. I mean, look at what Rutgers did. Rutgers kind of rocked them and made it a game for about a half.
Yeah, 14-7 at halftime.
So, and I don't think Minnesota's obviously all that great of a team, but I do think they've got, their defense is pretty good. They're all right? I mean, Northwestern kind of torched them a little bit. I think they're all right. Again, it's going to be interesting to see. So it's a late game. It kind of gives me that. Kind of gives me some of those vibes a couple years ago when Nebraska played Michigan at home, late at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, like I said, I'm going to say Michigan rolls, but it could happen. You never know. Minnesota, like I said, they got to get it going. If you're Minnesota and want to make a bowl game, they were predicted in a lot of people's polls to win 7 or 8 games this year. They've won 9, I think, the last 3 years. Definitely not the same team there, but we'll see. I guess that's how we'll find out. So
we'll see. Once was lost, now I see. Actually, I think I fucked that up. I once was blind, now I see. You know what? It doesn't matter. Look, we're moving on. Oklahoma, Texas, Chris. I'm pretty sure you picked Oklahoma in this one, right?
Yes, I did, man. Give me the Sooners. This game is going to probably be the best game on the slate today. I don't think that surprises anybody. There's obviously a lot of good games that are going to happen today, but I think this one is huge for both these teams. They're clearly the best 2 teams in the Big 12 this year. I don't think it's even a debate. I think whoever wins this game obviously has got a really good chance to obviously play for the Big 12 title, let alone maybe a playoff spot. So this one's going to be good, man. This isn't going to be a 49-0 win for the Longhorns. I can tell you that, like it was last year. So I'm rooting for Oklahoma in this one. I don't like either team, obviously, but I'm going to pick the Sooners. I know, Christian, I think you picked the old Longhorns. Oh boy, what's he pulling out? Yeah, God, this will be good.
We're gonna be sipping on some of this right here, Chris. what this is?
What do you got there?
Tito's. If you look very closely, it's distilled in Austin, Texas, sir.
Okay.
I don't know if you can say. You know what? It doesn't matter. If you just go look up Tito's, you'll know where it's at.
All right.
Yeah, we're picking Texas out here. Children of the Corn says hook 'em horns.
Okay.
Let's go.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, both these 2 teams, offenses and defense, are both rated in the top 15 or something like that. This should be a really good game, Christian. I truly believe that. This is going to be a fun one to watch. It's always a good game usually, but like this year, there's a lot of implications for both these schools.
Yeah, to me, this is kind of a pick 'em game. I mean, I'm going to pick Texas, but I mean, I could see Texas, coming out flat in one, and Oklahoma just jumping up and getting them, and I don't know, man. I mean, it's going to be an interesting game. That is for damn sure. Because going into it, the only thing I really want out of this game is hopefully it's just a close game for four quarters. That's all I care about. If we get to like 5 minutes in the fourth quarter and it's a one possession game, that's all I care about.
No, I agree. I agree too. As a college football fan, I know you are too, and a lot of the people in our chat obviously are. I just want a close football game. I want a good football game. I don't want a game that's 35-14 or something like that. I want something going down into the fourth quarter and it's tight coming down to the last minute or two. Man, I think this game is going to go that way today. I really truly do. It's one of the coolest games to watch because they got the goddamn if you look at the stadium, they got it split 50-50 between Oklahoma and Texas fans. It should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, dude. I agree. Speaking of close games, Maryland, Ohio State, Chris. I don't think I could pick Maryland to get with the upset in this one.
This is what's kind of surprising. So I put money on Maryland, but I took the 18.5 points. That's a lot of points. I think Maryland can keep this one close. I'd feel better about maybe if Maryland was at home and maybe could shock Ohio State, but they got to go down there to the Buckeye Land and try to beat Ohio State at home. That's a tough thing to do for any team. Christian, what do you think this? I mean, do you think Maryland has a chance to? I mean, what's Maryland going to have to do to upset Ohio State? Man, we've seen some Ohio State games this year. Big win over Notre Dame last drive. What's Maryland going to have to do? Because Maryland is a team nobody's really talking about. They're 5-0.
So they're going to have to do two things. Okay, number one, they're going to have to shut down Ohio State's run game. Easier said than done. Number two, on the offensive side of the ball, that offensive line is going to have to hold up and give Talia some time. They cannot, I think last year he got beaten to a pulp in that game. It was kind of hobbling around there in the fourth quarter. So they got to hold up against a much improved Ohio State front seven this year to have a shot to win this. I don't know if those two things are possible. Could they do one of them? Sure. Could they come out and hold up for him for like a half? Probably. Could they come out and shut down Ohio State's run defense or rushing attack for a couple quarters? Maybe. But I don't know. Again, that's what I think they're going to have to do in order to win is basically just play somewhat physical at both sides, both lines of scrimmage, and let's kind of see what happens from there, right?
Yeah, this isn't your typical Ohio State team. They don't have a CJ Stroud back there. They're not throwing the ball for 400 yards a game and 40 points. This is a different team this year. They run the ball. They've been very successful at it. And I will finally say this, Ohio State's defense doesn't look soft. They look a lot better than they have in previous years. And they relied on that. I mean, if you watch that Notre Dame Ohio State game, that was a defensive game all game. And Ohio State's defense did a damn good job containing Estime for most of that game. So, yeah, Maryland's got a good offense. I mean, Mike Locksley's done a hell of a job with that program. They got a top 20 defense this year, but I know they haven't played anybody. That's what people are going to say. But I like Maryland to keep this close for most of the game. I do.
But who have they played, Chris?
Who they played? Yeah, I know. Virginia, I think, and NC State or something like that. Yeah, really a bunch of nobodies. But you're right. Who they played?
Oh, man. Moving on, I think we can skip Virginia Tech, Florida State, Arizona, and Southern Cal.
Yeah, nothing to say. Those teams should do what they need to do.
Notre Dame, Louisville. Ooh, Seth with the upset already. He's got Louisville over Notre Dame. What are your thoughts about that, Chris?
Seth, I like you, my man. I just don't think Louisville's very good. I think they're undefeated yet, but I think Notre Dame's just too physical, man. I do. I know they had that crazy game, against Ohio State where they lost on the last play. They turned around, beat a good Duke team who I think has kind of surprised a lot of people this year. That was a really good football game. I really truly think Notre Dame runs over Louisville today. Christian, what's your thoughts on this one? I do like his upset, though. I like guys that go out and limb and put their money where their mouth is, or at least say it in the comment section. So,
no, I agree with him. Or, I agree with you. Sorry. I think Notre Dame, they're too good of a team. I think they're too complete of a team on both sides of the ball. I think that loss to Ohio State, that kind of fired them up a little bit. They got a tough road win last week, by the way, at Duke. And yeah, man, I mean, this is a team that's got some confidence back within them. And I mean, they're a top 10 team in the country. I like Notre Dame in this one.
Okay. No, I do too. Like I said, but I appreciate Seth going out on a limb, picking an upset. That's a pretty bold take, man. Nobody's talking about Louisville this year.
Oh, I agree with you, man. They're a quietly slept on team. Obviously, they're a top 25 team. Maybe not after this week, but hey, we'll see.
Yep.
Alabama, Texas A&M. What are your thoughts on that? This might. I'm torn right now because we got a couple upsets of the week kind of brewing here, Chris. What do you think, though? What do you think about Let me ask you this: what does Texas A&M have to do to beat Bama?
A&M is going to have to be able to slow down the run game of Alabama and make Jalen Milroe beat you through the air. And I don't know if he can do that. I really don't. I know I picked Bama in this game, but on the flip side of it, Alabama's got a pretty good defense this year. They're better than what they were last year defensively for sure. This should be a really good football game. And if I'm A&M, man, I'm using the home field advantage. I'm using Kyle Field to my advantage this whole game. And they need to start off with a touchdown or get on the board early. And as well as I do, Christian, Alabama has struggled the last 2 years on the road. I mean, they totally two different teams when they play at home and play on the road. So A&M has a big advantage there playing at home. But I got Bama in this one in a close game. I said it on the Wednesday show. I hate saying that because I don't like Alabama at all, but I think they get a W here. But this should be a defensive game, man. I truly believe that. Christian, I want to hear your thoughts on this game.
Give me Texas A&M, man. I mean, just give me Texas A&M outright.
Let's go.
I know everybody's saying Bama. They're number 11 in the country. I think A&M's defense is they're legit. They might. I don't think it's a stretch to say they're the best defense Texas is going to play to this point in the season.
Yeah, for Bama, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Bama did play a Texas defense that's pretty good, but A&M's defense does look really, really good. I will say that they pretty much shut everybody out except for that Miami game earlier in the year.
It kind of got boat race. Tends to happen.
Hey, Christian, you want to put your mic just a little bit closer to you, sir?
Yeah, I said that they got boat race down there in Miami. That tends to happen from time to time whenever you go down to Miami and play. Just ask the Denver Broncos about that.
Woo! That's right,
the NFL ranks. Yes, sir. But no, I like Texas A&M. I think Max Johnson is Max Dugan reincarnated. I think he just changed his last name and came back to college. He's Stetson Bennington it. You know what the fuck I'm trying to say. He's doing that again. Dude's been in college football forever. He's a vet. It's at home. Last time they played, they upset him. The line on that game is like what, minus 111 or something like that. Minus 120.
Yeah, I think. Let me look here. I got it pulled up. Alabama right now is favored by 2 points. So this is basically a pickup game. I mean, this will be a good football game. This one's right up there today with Oklahoma, Texas. I truly do. It's kind of an elimination game, isn't it, for both schools? I mean, whoever loses this one's probably out of the playoffs, but I mean, it might be out of an SEC title bid too. So this one, there's a lot on this game.
Oh, for sure, dude. I mean, this is the season for both these schools. Kind of comes through here. Whoever survives, congratulations, you got a shot to kind of keep going forward. Whoever loses, you're fighting for like a New Year's Six Bowl.
Right.
Moving along. By the way, let's stop here. Shout out. We got Corn. We got Mike. We got Seth in the chat. So taking roll call here. Be sure to comment down below so we know who's here. We're taking a little bit of attendance today. It is Saturday, so class is in session. Washington State, UCLA, or UCLA. Who did I pick in this one, by the way? Let me go back to my notes and see who I picked.
I know who I picked. I picked UCLA in an upset today. I think you took Washington State and Cam Ward, but I might be wrong about that. But this game ought to be a good one too, man. It's an interesting game. Washington State, man, they might be probably one of the biggest surprises this year, I bet, out of about any school so far. They've been awesome this year. That offense is elite, man. Cam Ward is looking like Pat Mahomes out there, man.
Man, I picked UCLA in this one too. It's at home. I think they're coming off of a pretty disappointing performance in a bye week, against Utah, right? They threw that pick six, I think, to start the game off. on the road. I think UCLA and Chip Kelly and Dante Moore, they're looking for a get right game. Washington State, I know their defense has been suspect at times. They can tend to give up a lot of points and a lot of chunk plays. So I think UCLA can take advantage of that. I do think UCLA's defense is pretty good as well, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, give me UCLA in that one.
Yeah, no, I agree. UCLA's got a really good defense. They're top, like, I think 10 in a lot of stats and categories. I know people are going to say, who have they played though? But I like I said, I like UCLA to upset the Cougars today.
Let's go. By the way, real quick, we got people saying Washington State by 10.
Okay.
We got Mike from the giant Nebraska town of Maywood. Population of 50. 50. Probably a slept-on game. Don't need to go too far into it. Syracuse, North Carolina. Syracuse, they're a 4-1 team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, lost to Clemson last week.
So, does this have upset potential written on it, Chris?
No, I just don't think Syracuse is very good. I know they started off 4-0, almost were ranked, and then they got mollywopped by Clemson. That game was closer than what the score indicated, or further away from what the score indicated. But yeah, I don't think so. North Carolina's looked really good this year offensively, Christian. Typical Mac Brown team, right?
Yeah. But like you said, typical Mac Brown team, I don't know. I mean, they have one game a year, you know.
Well, App State almost beat them. Remember that? I think that's North Carolina's closest game. They have big wins over Minnesota and South Carolina, but App State took them, to double overtime? Something like that?
Yeah. I mean, they did. I mean, they've done that, like a couple years in a row where it's been a really, really close game. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be a close game. I can't outright pick Syracuse to win this game. I think Mac Brown and North Carolina, Drake May, I think they've all got them rocking and believing, dude. So yeah, give me UNC in that one.
Okay, I like it. Go Tar Heels.
We touched on Oregon State and Cal already, but again, I'll kind of give you my thoughts on it. I want to say in this one, I mean, Cal, I think is going to hang around with them. It's at home. It's at night. Oregon State's traveling. They kind of had a get-right game last week against Utah.
Yeah, they look good.
I think it's going to – I think Oregon State wins it, but I think it's going to be a close game within inside of like maybe 10 points.
Yeah, no, that's what the spread's at currently too. I'm with you on that one. I think Cal hangs around for a while in this one. I do. I truly do. I don't think I could probably pick the upset. Cal they had a kind of a weird 2-quarterback system so far. I don't like that. But I think Cal will hang in there for a while. Oregon State's not at home either. Oregon State is unbelievable. They're about unbeatable at home, but you can catch them on the road every once in a while.
Yeah, you can catch them on the road. Cal's not a slouch place to play either. You know, Auburn had a lot of trouble there, but I mean, Auburn also has a lot of problems, elsewhere too. Arkansas and Ole Miss. We touched on this a little bit, Chris. I know you said coming into the season you were really high on Arkansas, and they've kind of let us down. I know Arkansas fans kind of let us know about that. What are your thoughts? Does Arkansas have a shot here to pull off an upset on the road?
No, I'm so upset with Arkansas this year. Just defensively, they're no good. I think Arkansas's better days are behind them a couple years ago. KJ Jefferson, kid's been there forever. Raheem Sanders. I mean, they can put up some points, but man, their defense sucks. And honestly, Ole Miss, coming off that, what do you want to call that, track meet last week against LSU? Hell of a football game to watch if you're a track meet guy. But I think Ole Miss's offense is definitely elite. I see this game being really high scoring, but I think Ole Miss is definitely the better team. Arkansas just hasn't shown anything this year in any of their games.
No, I agree. I think this is going to be a battle of no defenses. I mean, just leave the defenses at home and pretty much just go to a glorified 7-on-7 is what you might as well do. See whoever drops a pass first in this one might lose. Right? Jeez.
Right.
So Georgia Tech, Miami's going to roll. LSU, Mizzou. Now this is kind of, I think, the interesting one here for us, Chris. A lot of people are saying Mizzou's going to beat LSU in the chat. What are your thoughts?
I hope not. I put a lot of money on the money line at LSU today. So my betting aside, though, I don't see how LSU, if they lose this game, is at like 3-3 after 6 weeks of the football season. This was a team that a lot of people had in the playoffs, was very high on this year. I know I had them going like 11-1 or 10-2, but I mean, if they lose this game, and I'm not saying Missouri's a bad football team, I'm not. Please don't take that the wrong way, Mizzou fans. But LSU's got a really, really good offense. Where the hell is their defense, Christian, this year? I mean, we just touched on the Ole Miss game last week. They gave up a fuck ton of yards and points to Florida State in the second half, week 1. They gave up a ton of points to, I think it was Arkansas. Like, I just don't know if Brian Kelly, I mean, what's the deal there, man? This guy usually is really good at winning regular season games and then usually shits the bed in a bowl game he should win.
Well, I think he got it backwards. You know what I mean, Chris? Like his first season, they lose a couple games. They make it to the SEC championship game. Really good season for him his first year. And you think, okay, they're getting most of those players back. He's got, again, relatively the same schedule as what he had last year. Should be a no-brainer, right?
I would think.
And yeah, to me, I look at this game. I don't think LSU loses this game. It's on the road. I know Mizzou's playing inspired football. Who's Mizzou's best win this year, Chris?
K-State. And what happened to K-State last night?
There you go, doing Big 12 shit. My whole point of it is, I think, now I will say this, and you asked me a very interesting question before the show started. If LSU loses this game, would I be more disappointed in LSU and what I thought they should have done in the season, or am I going to be more, hyped or more impressed by Mizzou winning the game? I'd probably be more impressed by Mizzou winning the game. I'm not saying they can't win this game. I'm just saying I think LSU is going to be pretty pissed off. They're going to probably wake up. They're going to hopefully play a little bit better defense in this game. And, yeah, I got a feeling that Mizzou's dream season might come to an end today.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I see it going that way. I see it being a close game, but I don't think LSU or Missouri is going to have any. I mean, Missouri's a decent team, but I don't know if they could shut down LSU's offense. They're going to have to put up. That should be a high scoring game, I would assume.
Yeah. Probably our game of the week: Central Michigan and Buffalo. Chris, what do you?
Let's go! Let's go Buffalo, baby! God, that caught me off guard. I thought you were going to say Kentucky, Georgia, and then we're into fucking Michigan, Buffalo.
We probably would have had a better shot at. The corn says Buffalo. Yeah. We probably would have had a better shot probably trying to predict a scrimmage between the Buffalo Bills practice squad and the Detroit Lions practice squad, I think.
Yeah. In
this one. Fuck. I don't know. Who cares? Rutgers at Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's 14-point favorite. Seth probably let me know here, but I think I'm going to die on this hill this year with Wisconsin, man. Can they get it together finally? Give me Wisconsin by 17 points today. I think they get it done. Rutgers is not a terrible team. They're not as bad as they've been. They can't throw the ball a little bit this year. So is Wisconsin's defense going to step up and play well? Wisconsin does only have one loss to a really good Washington State team. I will throw that out there, but they've won some ugly games this year. Please pound the ball with Braylon Allen, my man. Please do.
I got one word for you. And I got one word for the chat here.
Oh, boy.
Wisconsin is who I'm going to take.
Awesome. Love it. Let's go.
Yeah. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Wisconsin will pull ahead late in this one. I think they're coming off a bye week, and so they're playing some pretty inspired football as of late. And I think that'll translate pretty well for them. I think this is that momentum Luke Fickell kind of needs. They kind of had that reset, I think.
Yeah.
And they got the bye week. So, yeah, good stuff ahead. Speaking of bye weeks and who they played, I think leading into a bye week here, Purdue and Iowa.
Oh, boy. Iowa. Cade McNamara's done for the season. So, not that that's any loss there because their offense has been anemic this year. Purdue, Hudson Card, man, is a weird quarterback. I've watched him play 2 or 3 games this year. He can run the ball. He's athletic enough. He can extend plays, stuff like that. I think Purdue's got a decent offense. They do. Their defense is atrocious, but they did hold Illinois to 13 points last week. I don't know if that means anything. This is the Big Ten West at its finest. Give me Iowa in this one, but this game is ugly. I know. I could see Purdue winning this. I really could. Christian, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Actually, an interesting game.
Purdue's defense, hot garbage. Iowa's offense, hot garbage. And Yeah, dude, give me Purdue. I mean,
Okay.
Purdue can put up some points, and I mean, if they can just figure out a way to just kind of limit Iowa's running game and kind of take away some of their non-existent weapons. Sorry, Iowa man. Then I think Purdue might be able to do some stuff. I mean, Purdue's due for the come up anyway, so we'll see.
Well, you don't have to apologize to the Iowa man. Iowa fans don't even care about Iowa. Come on.
Oh man. Yeah, skipping ahead down here. This is my upset of the week here, Chris. Vanderbilt at Florida.
Man, where's Gator swag when I need it, man? I everybody knows I have no love for Florida. But I think they win this game today. It's at the Swamp, so that's why I'm giving them the edge. I don't think they lose to Vandy for the second year in a row.
Well, I think they do because Vandy gets their quarterback back, AJ Swan, who hasn't looked all that great at certain points this year. Vandy as a team hasn't looked all that great in what you would call big games, if you will. But hey, man, I think it's going to be a fun game.
If Florida would happen to lose this game in the Swamp to Vandy, do they fire Billy Napier on the 50-yard line right there?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right
he might as well just get back on the bus with all the Vanderbilt kids, man. I mean, if that happens, shit. Skip the press conference, get right on the bus with them. Just congratulations, Billy Napier is now your new offensive coordinator.
That's awesome. Joe the Court says, but Florida's defense is number one in the country. Yeah, no shit. That's all I.
Yeah, number one at giving up rushing yardage. Jesus Christ, I think Ray Davis is still hitting his head on the goalpost.
Yeah, dude, he averaged
from
20
Kentucky
yards to carry in that game, man. 20 yards. That's impossible to do on like 17 carries, dude. He's still running.
Still running. My God, dude. What are you guys most excited about today in the chat? Let us know. For sure, we'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah, we skipped over the Clemson Wake Forest game just because, look, I know Clemson isn't doing what they want to do, this season. They've already have 2 losses, but it's Wake Forest, dude. I mean, this ain't the same Wake Forest with Sam Hartman.
No, I would say Clemson rolls. Clemson did look a lot better. I watched the Syracuse game last week. Clemson looked like a much better team. They're playing for something still. I know they have 2 losses this year to 2 decent teams, but I think Clemson rolls today at home, especially. I like I said, Wake Forest no Sam Hartman there anymore. I just don't see that upset happening.
Agree.
Graham Mertz masterclass. The old Graham cracker.
Oh my God, dude. That guy, geez, dude. I've never. My analogy for Graham Mertz is if he was a baseball player, he would be that guy that all he can do is whenever the game's on the line, he can't hit for shit. Can't hit home runs, right? He can't throw the deep ball, aka. He can dink and dunk you down the field. He can get some singles when no one's on base. He can bunt his way onto base. But it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of the way I look at Graham Mertz. I mean, and he's going to finesse somebody and get a bag. I think that's kind of the Graham Mertz that Florida got. He's great. He's going to go out and he's going to put up, 250, 300 yards, but he's only going to throw, 1 touchdown, 1 interception?
Yeah.
1 touchdown, 2 picks,
Yeah, that's typical Graham Mertz, man. I mean, that's what he was at Wisconsin. He ain't gonna win you a game. I'll tell you that. I mean, he's just not that guy for a guy that was highly, highly recruited.
Probably most excited for Maryland, Ohio State, two Big Ten teams undefeated.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good one. We touched on that at the start of the show, but I think this is crazy, man. I put some money on Maryland in the points today, man. They're 18.5-point dogs. That's a lot of points. So I like to think Maryland hangs around in that game. I think Ohio State's probably too much in the end. But man, you can't sleep on the Terps this year, man. They're a good team, and I don't know how they're not ranked, man. I know it doesn't mean shit, but it's like I don't know how that team's not ranked. They're 5-0. They have LSU rated in the top 25 with 2 fucking losses. I don't understand that. Somebody needs to explain that to me. But yeah,
I think I agree. I mean, this is anytime you get two undefeated teams playing in the top 3 conferences in the country. I mean, whether it be the Big Ten, the SEC or the Pac-12. Sorry. Yeah, the Pac-12. It's not the ACC anymore. It's all about the Pac-12 now.
It is, dude. It'd be the Pac-2 after this year.
Their farewell tour. I think anytime you can get 2 undefeated teams in any conference, whether it be big or small, I like Maryland. Like I said, I do, but I don't know, man. Ohio State's defense, they look a lot better than they normally do.
I agree. I think that's the big key. Can Maryland put up some points in this game to stick with, with Ohio State? Like I think you touched on it, Christian. Ohio State can really run the football. This isn't your typical Ohio State team. You know what I mean? Like where it's 40 some points a game. They might give up 20 or 30. Don't care because they can always outscore everybody. This year's a different story for Ohio State. Kyle McCord is not CJ Stroud or Justin Fields. He's not. They got obviously a lot of talented receivers, but I think McCord's only got like 6 touchdown passes. Usually CJ Stroud or Justin Fields has got like 24 at this time. You know what I mean? Ohio State's always dropping 45, 50 points on everybody, not playing any defense. But this year's a whole different story. Like I said, Ohio State's actually impressed me because I'm usually pretty hard on them, but they've looked good. And this game should be a good game. I hope it's a good game. I think Maryland's a good team. Christian and I was kind of high on Maryland this season. Said maybe they have a chance to knock off an Ohio. They got to play all 3 big boys: Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan this year. I think they got a good chance to beat one of those this year.
Yeah, I agree. They got to beat somebody, right? I think they're going to do it. How pissed would you be if Ohio State beats them and they turn around and they knock out like Michigan?
Oh God. Well, I will say this: last year when Michigan played them, that was their closest game, other than the TCU game at the end of the year. But like they almost fucked around and won that game. Maryland did last year. So yeah, they're one of those sleepy teams that get slept on. No pun intended, but they do. And I think this year they returned like 18 starters, Christian, from last year's team. They got a lot of veteran guys around there. Mike Locksley's a hell of a head coach. Done some pretty good things at Maryland. So yeah, give me Ohio State, but I think this game comes down to the fourth quarter.
I agree. By the way, don't think we've forgotten. We've still got the bets on line here. Let's be honest, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh man, Nebraska, Iowa. If Nebraska wins, I got to get frosted tips.
Yeah, you do. I don't remember I have to get frosted tips. What was my if I don't win? What do I got?
You got to get frosted tips if Iowa wins, son.
Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, I hope Nebraska can. I don't know. Iowa, Nebraska this year have kind of both different teams. I don't know. Hopefully though that happens, man. Hopefully we get a W against Iowa for the second straight year. That would make me incredibly happy. I think Nebraska, by the time they play Iowa, if they can win that game, hopefully they got 6 wins and we're going bowling. So,
looking at some other stuff here that we've got. Yeah, I'm just trying to look ahead here a little bit. Bama not finishing in top 4. It's a bottle. I think you were pretty high on Bama to start the year off with, and then you slowly started listening to me on it.
Oh, yeah.
Steak dinner. I bet you that TCU and Tennessee would finish the season unranked.
Yeah. That
I don't want to talk about the other ones. Because I had to pick. I don't know what we bet. I don't remember what. I know I picked Clemson, and you picked Florida State. That's what I got written down here.
Mm-hmm.
So you had Colorado winning 7 games. And I end up cooking you a meal. If less than 7, then you cook for me.
Man, I wish I wouldn't have made that. I know I changed my mind on Colorado pretty quickly after that. I wish I would have stuck with that.
I like this one, though. The combine that we're going to do. Then I have to wear a wrestling singlet to our next family get-together.
Oh, that'll be impressive. They make one that big?
I'm sure they do. You've seen Brock Lesnar, right? I mean, that's who I'm basically trying to cut. That's kind of my body type, I would say.
Okay.
If he took like 6 years off.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Man, is he? Mike says, I missed the start of the show. Do you think 6 wins is possible for Nebraska? Got the dub last night in ugly fashion. I am going to upgrade after last night. 5 with a fringe 6 wins is kind of where I'm at with it. I think 5-6 wins is in the realm of possibilities. So Yeah.
Um, 5 tops yet for me. I got to see it one more week. I know that sounds crazy. If they can beat Northwestern, and I know on paper when you say that name, that should be an easy win for Nebraska, but Northwestern isn't as bad as what I thought they were going to be this year. So Nebraska did have an ugly win last night. We talked about that started the show a little bit, but Illinois is not a very good football team either. We got to cut down on the turnovers, though, Mike. I think you agree. We also had 10 penalties again for 70 yards. Northwestern's a better team than Illinois. I will say that. We're gonna have to play a little bit better next week. If we can get a W there, then yeah, I think we can win 2 more games. I hope anyway to get to 6. That's the goal this year. If you're the Husker man, I think a majority of us would agree with that.
I will say this to recap kind of as well what I had said, about Nebraska. I said it was a great win last night, especially after that Michigan game. I think that this was a game that, the season, everyone could have tapped out,
Yep.
In this game. I mean, some kids already got in the transfer portal, I think, after the Michigan game. There was a lot of stuff kind of coming out where Matt Rule was talking about, hey, I'm not doing anything to motivate these kids. It's all on them. And I kind of was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Game against Illinois, who on paper to start the year off we thought was going to be, and you could see it too. I mean, they're 2 defensive tackles. I think those kids could find their way onto some NFL teams. Not saying they're going to start or anything like that. I think they could probably find themselves into some rotations or some practice squads in the NFL for Illinois. I think they have a really interesting running back room out there in Illinois where they have Derrick Henry 2.0. I mean, they had a kid that was 6'3", 250 pounds at running back.
Yeah.
And then that Love kid, he looked pretty, looks pretty good too. I think he was pretty banged up. Altmaier, not a bad kid. I mean, I just don't think his offensive line, nor does his center, do him any favors last night. And then the rest of Illinois' defense, they looked kind of suspect too. There was a lot of missed calls in that game, by the way. Whenever they would show that reverse angle on some plays, Illinois was holding like a motherfucker on a lot of those plays against Nebraska's wide receivers. So they could have probably thrown a pass interference flag just about on every play.
Yeah, the reffing was terrible in that game, both sides even. I mean, it was just ugly. It's been ugly all year for the most part, to be honest with you, on a game-by-game basis. But, yeah, no, like I said, for Nebraska, it's great for the fan base. It's great for the kids. Like Christian said, they could have fucking laid an egg last night after that blown out loss last week, to Michigan. But they went out and they fought hard. It wasn't a pretty game. It wasn't. I mean, the penalties, you guys know on this show, Christian and I can't stand sloppy football. It drives me nuts. The amount now Illinois did turn the ball over. Credit the Huskers defense, but we got to be able to score inside the red zone too. Like that was something I really took away. Like, damn, if we're gonna try to get to 6 wins this year or compete with Wisconsin, Maryland, those teams coming up, Iowa, you got to be able to punch the ball in the end zone a couple times. Or nobody wants to get field goals, but man, we had how many times were we? I'd like to see that stat. How many times were we inside the red zone last night? How many points did we actually get out of it?
I want to say in the second half, I think I was counting, like, I know there was 3, maybe, I think there was like 3 times that you guys were in the red zone where you just had great field position and you only came away with 3 points. I think a lot of that was due to, they kind of did what the Dallas Cowboys did. I can't believe I'm using this comparison. They kind of did what the Dallas Cowboys have done, right? If you watch the NFL at all right now, the big hot take in the season is Dak and the Cowboys struggling inside the red zone. I mean, you saw that really against the Cardinals. I think a big part of that is their play calling got very conservative once they get inside the 20. Right, they need to do more stuff with trying to get Harburg, rolling out, get him outside of the pocket. Maybe do some more read option games there. Maybe look to use his athleticism. And honestly, one guy that I'm pretty interested in, Coleman. I mean, let's give that kid some jump balls. Let's try to give him a shot to go moss somebody.
Yep, I agree with you there. They need to get him out and let him run. He's an athlete. He's by far our most athletic wide receiver we got. We got to get him on the field because we don't have a lot of explosiveness on the outside with Nebraska's offense this year. I've talked about that a ton. So, yeah, I knew it. I knew it was coming, Corn. You can't let this kicker thing go.
Fucking name the stadium after him. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, Alvarez, he did what he needed to do last night. I'll take the PAT, man. I'll take it.
what they don't even. I'm looking here. They don't even have him listed in the stats, dude. That's messed up on the NCAA NCAA.com.
That is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Nah, he did good last night though.
He did.
Yeah, Washington. I'm pretty sure he might be done.
Yeah, God, man, the injury bug. I know it happens to every school, but God, Nebraska in the skill positions, man. Both two out of 3 running backs are done for the season. The wide receivers, they've been hurt all year. I think Washington's probably done, man. And he's a guy with some experience. He came from Texas a couple years ago over with what's his bucket as our quarterback, man. And yeah, that sucks to see. Last night we're hurting at the skill positions this year.
Well, Chris, I think we're kind of touching that point right now. It's almost about 40 minutes now until first kickoff here. Kind of final thoughts as we get ready to get into this.
I think Christian, I think you're right, man. I think there's a bunch of good games today, guys, and they're at every slate. So this, starting off here at 11 o'clock, we got the big one, the Oklahoma, Texas game, LSU, Missouri, Maryland, Ohio State. So there's 3 really, really good games to start off the day, man. I'm super pumped about that. And I'll let Christian take over here, but let's go Bulldogs tonight.
Hey, man. Go sick him. My dog's up there barking at me. He's just excited. He knows what today is. He knows exactly what today is, right? He knows right now that the best matchup probably in college football is going to be South Alabama and University of Louisiana Monroe.
Oh, I can't wait for that one. Can't wait for that one.
Chris set his alarm because he knew what was getting ready to happen right there.
Yeah, that was my dad calling. Probably talk some shit.
There we go. There we go. Old Tuvaka.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Kentucky by 2 points. Corn, if Kentucky, I want you to know right now, I bet a little bit of some money on Kentucky game.
Ooh.
Outright. I'm going to hedge my bets. I'm hedging my bets. That's what I do. Right? That's what you got to do. Because if Kentucky wins, I'm going to win some money. If Georgia wins, well, I'm going to lose some money, but my team won. So
yeah, I did that last night. I bet on Illinois, and Nebraska won, so I'm a happy man. Either way.
So, well, guys, we will be back tomorrow morning with the recap. We'll be sure to talk all the shit. I'm sure there's going to be some surprises along the way. Yeah. I can't wait to see the Gator Man coming in telling us about how Florida would absolutely curb stomp Texas and Oklahoma. He said, how else would you afford that lamp? Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, by God, that guy... Some people are really impressed on the internet.
I know, man. I don't know what it is when your lamp gets more attention than this show does. Holy shit. God damn. It's like Antique Roadshow over here, man.
That's a nice lamp there, dearie. Yeah.
God damn. Things a little bit crooked back there, too, but hey.
Hey, man, you can't get that shit straight, all right? I mean, it's like you on a Saturday night in downtown Lincoln, man.
Oh, hey.
You got that closet all closed up down there. You might want to come out of that room there.
Yeah, no shit though. That's a nice lamp.
It's a nice lamp, dude. I feel like we're fucking. I feel like what we need to hear from a little bit is old Clemson man Carl.
All right, man. Got lamp. Got some taters in there too. Yeah. No, I love it, man. No, it's a nice lamp though. It's a very nice lamp. God damn, that's some funny shit. That guy was actually serious about that when he left that comment. That's what's funny.
I'm pretty sure he was, man. I need to get like an elaborate backstory. You know what? Coming tomorrow, I'm gonna have a backstory on that lamp for you. Don't you worry.
There you go, man. Well, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for the support, man. Thanks for coming out. This is gonna be our thing going forward on Saturdays. So hopefully we can get some more people in here. But thank you guys for getting up early and watching us two clowns on air. It's definitely better than game day. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review. Instead of Chris the Bear Felica, I'm kind of filling in for him. I kind of have that same body type / face type. Chris is more like, I don't even know who you would be. I mean, Lee Corso.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's old as shit over there. I think I haven't forgotten. Well, we will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Be sure to like, subscribe, and be here tomorrow at 9.